Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, God Survivors. I'm back here again with another video. This topic that I will be discussing today has been blessing me so much. So I'm praying that it will bless someone else. The topic is spending time with God, making God top priority. And so I'm just going to jump right in. I have a few notes here. But first I just want to ask, what happens when we don't plan? Either if it's planning an event or planning your bills, what usually happens? Usually, like if it's like an event, like it will just be a whole bunch of chaos. Nobody really knows what they're doing, and everything will be out of order. It's like the same thing for bills. You might forget that this bill this month because you didn't write down exactly. We might spend the money that you needed for that bill because you didn't budget it in, plan it out. Everything just becomes crazy, right? So if I was visualizing basically like an event, or even in the midst of that event that had no planning, I'll be anxious. I'll be overwhelmed. So it just wouldn't be good. So what I do now, it's because when I don't plan out my day, I get very anxious and I really get stressed, and then I don't want to do anything. And you might ask, do you plan everything out to like a T? No, absolutely, absolutely not. I do not plan everything out to the T. And I also understand that life will happen, right? But what I do now, because I used to plan out my day, but I never included God into my plan. So I will always, go out by my, go on about my day. And in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, well, I know I didn't spend time with God, but then in my head, like, well, I don't have time. And, a lot of us, we do have busy schedules. But for me, I will find out a lot of times I'll say I don't have time with God, but then I can sit in front of the TV and binge watch like Netflix or something like that, and I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound right. So now I definitely make sure I carve out my time with God, and how I made this important for me, because I had to make God important for me. People say, well, God is important. Yes, but I had to make God important for me. I had to make him my top priority, because we do things, right? We do things that we want to do, things that we feel like is important, that we want to do, we do them. So I had to make God that for me. So I had to carve out that time, and I had to learn that it wasn't going to be easy, and it will be effort on my part to build that relationship with him. That's like every relationship. You have to put in what you want out of that relationship. So I had to do that for me. I had to be. It's basically consistency, and consistency is the key. And I had to carve out, because so I can know that it was his time, and this was his time, and his time only. This is who I was focusing on. This is in my schedule. This is here. This is what I'm doing, and that's it. And I'm going to go into a scripture a little bit later on how I made this, how I saw, and why I felt like it was vital for me to make God important to spend time with. So when we do carve out this time with God, you may, like all of us have a busy schedule, like a lot of us do. But just make sure you're having quality time with him and not quantity time. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to read a bunch of scriptures every day. You do not. Now I read one scripture, and I'll get into that a little bit later as well. But I read one scripture and meditate on that scripture for 1 week. I still read my devotional, which is Commanding Your Morning, but I pick out one scripture, either it's from the book or from my Bible app, or a scripture that I remember from before, but I meditate on that one scripture, because what I learned from before, it helps me absorb. It helps me to understand what I'm reading, because if you're just going through that time and just reading and not taking anything from it, what are you doing it for? Like, and it it helps you to stay connected to him. So the scripture right now that has helped me, like I said before, make God important and made it vital for me to spend time with him was James 15:1-8. And I'm going to read it. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are already clean because of the you're already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. For without me you can't do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered, and they gather them and throw them in the fire, and they are burnt. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you will ask what you desire, and it shall be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples. And this is Jesus speaking. Um, so so we are the branches and he is the vine. And so we bear fruit when we are connected. But the fruit part comes because you're spending time. You're reading his word, you're being connected, you're getting to know him, you allow him to teach you, you're growing. But if you're just going through the motions, not taking nothing from it, not learning from what your relationship with God, how you're spending time with him, you're going to find yourself disconnected and you're just going to fall off and you're not going to bear fruit. So that's why I say quality over quantity. And you may ask, how can you be consistent? And this one is where I can tell you how I started to be consistent with God. So now I decided to do a heart wall. I have done it I did it like 2 years ago, where I just completed a heart with like posties. But I was doing the scriptures like every day. This time I'm only doing the scripture once a week. So I just find a scripture that blesses me and I meditate on that scripture for the whole week. So the scripture that I doing today, I did it 2 days ago, was Psalms 55:16-17. And it says, as for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon, I will pray and cry out loud, and he shall hear my voice. Yes, so this scripture has helped me to see like there's no set time to spend with God and to talk to God. But what we need to do is have confidence that he indeed hear your voice when you talk to him. And it could be anything to keep yourself motivated. It can be walking outside and listen to a scripture and listen to worship music, or walk into a park and sitting down and listen to his word. Do something that will motivate you every day to want to keep coming back to him and having that time with him, and having that relationship with him. And do something good like for your mental health. So if it's good, if it's walking and sitting down and reading, or anything that you feel like is good for your mental health, include that and bring God into that. So that's about it. I hope you was blessed. I hope everything came out, because I was so excited about this video. And just continue to feed yourself with God, because that will give you what you need to survive. Be blessed.